Freaks, Kenny Sargent, Crash Gladys, Richie, Cole, and Cody. Big Johnson. This isn't a show, it's a takeover, no rules, no limits, just speed, smoke, and straight talk, strapping Freak Nation! This is Speed Freak and Horsepower Hunting!
31, we already love it. Move over, NASCAR. You're taking the back burner today, ladies and gentlemen. You are off the record. We're not going to talk about you at all today. Not only because you're going to Chicagoland, and I think only 12 people are going to watch that race, or actually be in attendance and buy a ticket to that race. So we're not talking about you today, folks. No, absolutely not. Because when I woke up this morning, I woke up to Marshaall Pruett's big-time breaking news in the world of IndyCar, because Scott Dixon, the 6-time champion and greatest IndyCar driver of his generation, is set to complete his 25th and last season with Chip Ganassi Racing in 2026 and move to Mclaren in 2027. And as Marshaall Pruett puts it here in his story, as the biggest signing in the team's history, Scott Dixon, one of, if not the greatest to ever do it in the history of IndyCar, on the move. And just like Will Power last year, leaving Team Penske after decades as part of Team Penske, winning championships and Indy 500s with Team Penske, and moving to Andrea last year, Scott Dixon is pulling his Tom Brady, and he is leaving the team that made him famous, going to McLaren in 2027. This is shocking, shocking news. I can't believe it. This is legit like Tom Brady leaving the Patriots. This is incredible. Incredible news. If you're in the know and you've been reading behind the scenes and the headlines over the last little bit, we've kind of known this was going to happen, that Scott was likely to leave Ganassi at the end of this year. But to actually see it put to paper from Marshaall Pruett at Racer this morning, Cole, still shocking to me that we're going to have one of the greatest of all time leaving the team that he helped make famous, and Ganassi helping Scott Dixon become the driver he became.
Yeah, it is pretty shocking, and I won't lie. I'm obviously still a bit new to IndyCar, so it's definitely new for me. But I think making the comparison from Tom Brady and the Patriots moving to the Buccaneers was a great comparison, especially for people like myself who don't really have a strong grasp on the IndyCar world. I was trying to think of like a motorsports equivalent going into today. I guess you could kind of say like Kyle Busch going from JGR to RCR would be a comparable thing. Or if Denny Hamlin were to do the same, be with JGR for 20 years and move over to a different team like RCR, that would be the equivalent. But I'm more surprised that he's not retiring personally. To be with a team that long, 25 years, like a quarter of a century, is a very long and storied tenure. And you still want to see him go out on a low note like other athletes we've seen in the past. So it's also kind of a weird synergy going from LeBron announcing his departure from the Lakers yesterday to Scott Dixon leaving CGR today. So interesting stuff in the sports world.
I was, as you were just talking there, I was thinking it's about, their sports terms, like Will Power. I think this year is a good example of this, where you watch him at Andrea this year and it's just kind of sad. And
exactly.
It's unfortunate. He's not been in contention at pretty much any race this year. Outside, he was up front in Phoenix and doing okay there and a couple other races, but it's just been a really poor season with him at Andretti. And it was like watching, it's like watching, like one of my favorite players growing up was Isaac Bruce with the Rams of the early 2000s. And he was a Rams draft pick, and he spent over a decade with the St. Louis Rams, and then he ended up going to play for the division rival San Francisco 49ers at the end of his career. It's Jerry Rice moving on from the 49ers and wrapping up as a Seattle Seahawk. It's Emmitt Smith going from the Cowboys to the Arizona Cardinals, And so I hope that is not the case with Scott Dixon. he has been in contention in several races this year, and just hasn't been able to pull off the victory. But he has been playing second fiddle to Alex Palou over the last couple of years. So I think you're right. I hope this move for him isn't that. It's not the Jerry Rice moving on to a different team, right? It's not this somebody hanging around too long, and we're going to find out. And I think one of the things I want to ask you about first is, I put this on our list to talk about that. I think this is a great way, interesting topic, because if you read Marshaall Pruett's story, one of the reasons, and we're going to get to Christian Lundgaard in a minute, because I also find what's happening to him fascinating. But I want to start with the McLaren of this all, because next year's McLaren lineup is going to be Pato O'Ward. It's going to be Felix Rosenqvist, your 2026 Indy 500 winner, and it's going to be the 6-time champion Scott Dixon. And one of the reasons behind that, according to Marshaall Pruett, I almost called him Scott Pruett, longtime driver in sports car racing and Indy cars. He was in NASCAR there for a little bit too, with Chip Ganassi, actually, which is, according to Marshaall, the reasoning behind Arrow McLaren putting together this lineup is they want to seemingly solely focus on winning the Indianapolis 500, which is kind of insane to me, right? Like, granted, it is the biggest race in the world, but there's no other motorsport out there where you're going to say that and you're going to have a team making moves based on one thing. Because usually you make a move, it's to win a championship, right? You bring in your LeBron James to win a championship. The Lakers bring in Luka Doncic and hopefully winning a championship. The Phoenix Suns bringing in Kevin Durant in hopes of winning a championship. But instead of that, Arrow McLaren is bringing in a 40-plus-year-old Scott Dixon and bringing in the 2026 Indianapolis 500 champion winner and former Arrow McLaren driver Felix Rosenqvist in reunion. So, Cole, what do you make of that? Where McLaren is seemingly just like, we don't care about the championship. That's Alex Palou. We just want to win the Indianapolis 500 with these three drivers.
So I have a few thoughts on this. First of all, Dixon going to eventually McLaren. It's not a bad move. I would say if it was a team like Brady Global where Will Power went to and there's not as much performance there, I'd be more apprehensive. But I feel like Arrow McLaren's at least competent. And I think having a driver lineup like Rosenqvist and Pato and Dixon is extremely good. And it's a good foundation for the future, blended with obviously the history and the proven success. But I think in focusing on the 500, it makes a little bit of sense to me for this reason alone. First off, we've had this conversation numerous times on Speed Freaks and Horsepower Hump Day, how it's the biggest race in motorsports, period. And this event takes precedent for many in IndyCar over the championship, which is odd to me being a NASCAR fan, obviously. But I think for this reason alone, I understand why they're prioritizing the 500, because the purse for the Indy 500 in 2026 was nearly $31 million. And I think you have a purse like that, and you have three legitimate contenders, Pato, Felix, and Dixon, that can potentially win that over the next handful of years. That will set up McLaren tremendously for the future in getting more assets and just building towards what should be a more weekly contending team like we see with Chip Ganassi Racing.
Yeah, I learned today that the original founder of McLaren, Bruce McLaren, was born in New Zealand. And Ken and Crash on vacation, by the way, this week. They are going to be hanging out in an undisclosed location this weekend. So it is Richie Suave here, Richie Suave Flores, Cole Cusimano, filling in today on Horsepower Hump Day here in part of the Freak Nation. So we're talking to you about Scott Dixon and everything else. And so I did find out from Crash that she did send us an article from 2021 wherein it was speculated that at some point Scott Dixon would want to go race for McLaren because of the ties of Bruce McLaren to New Zealand. And I did not know this. I read some books and watched a bunch of documentaries last year about the history of Formula One and how important Bruce McLaren was to that back in the day, back in the 60s and 70s before he passed away. And I did not realize that Bruce McLaren is a Kiwi and he was born in New Zealand. And so there is the ties there. And so seemingly this has kind of been in the works for several years for this link up to happen. And we know that McLaren is really good at the Indianapolis 500. That's like the one thing that Scott Dixon is he has won the Indianapolis 500, but he's only won it one time. And so you go to Arrow McLaren, and you know they're going to show up at the Speedway and may be really, really quick. Pato's come in second and third, finish on the podium multiple times there. So if that's what he wants to do in that way, it would be a good move to try and win the 500. So there's that angle there. Next angle I want to touch on is the future of Christian Lundgaard, who currently right now is sitting in fourth place in the IndyCar championship standings this year with 2 wins on the season, coming off his win a couple weeks ago at Road America, his second win of the season for McLaren. Right now, he is the lead driver at McLaren, at Arrow McLaren. He is higher in the point standings than Pato O'Ward. Pato has not won a race in nearly a year. His last win came in Toronto, I believe, last year. And so Lundgaard has taken over that one seat at Arrow McLaren right now. And so what do they do? What do? They kick him to the curb, for 2 other guys to come in and just for that Indianapolis 500 championship. So this is a mistake, man. And this is McLaren. This is McLaren 101. This is what they do. They just are silly. Ever since they tried to go after Alex Palou and that blew up in their face, kind of, because obviously they ended up winning in court and all those millions of dollars that they're going to get from that. But they just don't know what to do when it comes to their drivers, and losing Christian Lundgaard, they're going to come to regret. I'm sorry. I think Christian Lundgaard is one of those guys who right now he's starting to figure this out. He is starting to become a guy who is going to contend on a weekly basis in the IndyCar series on road courses and street courses. And if you, again, Marshaall Pruett's article, Cole, if you read that, again, the biggest reason why seemingly they're moving on is because he hasn't been that good at ovals, even though he has a top 10 at the Indianapolis 500. He's been able to put together some good runs at some of these ovals in the past. But for whatever reason, they're too impatient. And instead of focusing on the future and developing this driver who is going to be really, really good for a long time to come, they're impatient. And instead, they're bringing in 2 veteran drivers to fill those seats. So what do you make of Christian Lundgaard being kicked to the curb at McLaren? Mistake or no mistake?
Massive mistake. Massive mistake. I think you're seeing him peak into form right now. Only 24 years old. Again, a couple of wins in the season. Clearly the better talent at Arrow McLaren right now, in my opinion, over Pato O'Ward. And even Lynn in the chat mentioned that they kicked Dave Malukas to the curb a few years ago. You got a foundation of Dave Malukas, Christian Lundgaard, and be it Felix Rosenqvist, who's in his 30s, or Scott Dixon, who's one of the best of all time at 45 years old. With those 2 younger guys, I think this must be for success. But I think you're right in saying they do not have the patience. With that in mind, I do want to go back to what I said about winning the 500 and prioritizing that. I do think that should they get one over these next few years, or a couple over the next couple of years, that it will set them up for a prosperous future, and it will allow them to have the tools and the assets to build towards a more stable foundation. But I think it reeks of desperation, impatience, and it's a major mistake to let go of Christian Lundgaard, who is, in my opinion, a top 5 driver in the sport at this point in time, and trending towards being one of those top 5 in the sport for a long, long time to come.
Yeah, he just seemingly is a driver that is confident right now and only getting better. Pato O'Ward to me is kind of the opposite of that, wherein like he's for whatever reason he just hasn't been able to put it together completely. Outside of the Indianapolis 500, he just hasn't been able to contend like he should, as you would expect from a number 1 driver. Which brings me to my next point, which is, where do you think Christian Lundgaard's going to go? And here's my question to you, Freak Nation, in the chat. Let us know, to you, Cole, which is, if you're Christian Lundgaard, you have an option here, which is, do you go to a team where you're not necessarily going to be the number 1 driver? And you and I both seem to think that he has the talent, the capability of being a number 1 driver, right? Or would you rather go to a top team and play second driver to a Alex Palou to go to Ganassi, right? Or play a second driver at Andretti to Kyle Kirkwood, who seemingly has emerged as the lead driver there, at least this year. So if you were Christian Lundgaard, what would you do? Would you try and maybe go for a secondary kind of a second tier team and be the lead driver, or go to an elite tier team, your Ganassis, your Andretti's, but play that kind of second driver like he is now at McLaren?
In my opinion, it doesn't matter if I'm a 1A or a 1B or whatever. The talent should speak for itself. I think the most important thing will be just landing a team in a ride that's going to be competitive week in, week out. Maybe like Dixon's ride, the number 9, or something of that nature at CGR. But I don't think it'd be a bad thing to be a teammate to Alex Palou, who's the modern day GOAT. You're going to learn a lot from him. And just, I think that energy and he gives off will also play a factor into his success. But again, it shouldn't matter about being the guy or being a supporting cast. The talent should speak for itself. And in the end, it doesn't really matter if you're a 1A guy or a 1B guy or whatever, just as long as the talent's there and the equipment's there.
Mm-hmm. Here's what I will say about this, because I was thinking about this today, and if I'm a competitive driver, I want to be the 1 seed. I want to be the guy. I want to be the lead driver on my team. I don't want to play second fiddle to anybody, especially if I'm somebody like a Christian Lundgaard who has proven that he can go out and win races, proven he can go out and beat Alex Palou at his own game multiple times this season. So if I'm Christian Lundgaard, the team I think I would be interested in going to is Meyer-Shank. Meyer-Shank is looking for a new lead driver. Granted, Marcus Armstrong, I think, is a really good young driver as well, who I think is developing into someone who's going to win races. Hell, he almost won Road America and probably should have won Road America if his car didn't fail him, right? And so for me, Meyer-Shank might be the move here. And part of the reason for that, Cole, Freak Nation, is starting in 2028, IndyCar is getting a brand new chassis. We still know what it's going to look like. IndyCar hasn't said much about this, but we know it's coming in 2028. And one of the things that is also coming in 2028, if you follow the sport closely, is that Meyer-Shank is going to be the team who is going to be the team that is going to handle the factory seat for Honda. Because in 2028, Honda is going to get a factory charter to run a team, and Meyer-Shank is going to be the team that's going to run that. So Meyer-Shank is going to expand to 3 cars, and they're going to get a lot of factory support from Honda, and that comes from their long history of Acura and Honda in sports cars, right? They've been a long-time sponsor of Shank Racing there. And so for me, that's pretty exciting, right? That is pretty exciting for me, and that's where I would go. I would go be the lead driver at Meyer-Shank Racing, because that they are going to get that extra charter with Honda, and they're going to have that Honda support. That's pretty important. Meyer-Shank is a team that seemingly is kind of on the rise, right? They won the Indy 500 this year, obviously, and they should have won at Road America. And for me, I'd go be the lead driver at Meyer-Shank as opposed to taking a second seat elsewhere on the grid for me.
I don't hate that idea at all, especially given the development process. I think that'll give you a nice runway for this new chassis and maybe give you a little bit of an advantage. So I think that in that scenario, he could be the guy for Meyer-Shank, which would be great but again, I feel like it would be a major miss if you were able to get Penske or Ganassi equipment and not take it. Whether you are the guy you're playing second fiddle to Alex Palou or someone like David Malukas or Joseph Newgarden or whoever, So, but it's not a bad pitch by any means. I think that'd be a great and smart and efficient one, honestly, looking towards the future with this new chassis.
I'm going to read through a couple other things here from Marshaall Pruett's article, one of which I was kind of shocked by. Maybe not shocked, but interested in, is he didn't mention Joseph Newgarden at all, who we don't really know what his contract looks like at Penske. The last we heard was 2024, and he had signed a multi-year contract. So I know Jenna Fryer put out an article recently where He might be on the move possibly, as I don't really know where he's at, and Marshaall didn't mention him in his article there, so that's something to keep an eye on. Let me roll through some of these other names that Marshaall mentioned real quick. Let's see. Dennis Hogger is, multiple sources indicate that Andretti Global has given Indy 2025 Indy Next champion Dennis Hogger permission to seek a new deal with other teams after the season is over in the number 19 Dale Coyne Honda. Dennis Hogger, as a rookie this year, he's shown some promise. He's an interesting guy from the Formula 2 circuit. Came from there before he joined NXT. Is an interesting guy to look out for. Andretti, there's no guarantee, but the call by Andretti to let Hogger move on could be an indicator of its intent to extend Marcus Ericsson in the number 28. Meyer Shank here, MSR has one priority, and it's keeping Marcus Armstrong. Resolving the Rosenquist situation is said to be the next item on MSR's to-do list, and has received an overwhelming array of outreaches from drivers in F1, F2, and IndyCar. Pick from the known candidates: Rinus VeeKay, Dennis Hogger, Christian Lundgaard, and so on, and pile a dozen others who want to place their names on the Indy 500 winning car. So still a lot to come when it comes to this. They also mentioned Josh Pearson, who is running an Indy Next this year. Apparently comes with a lot of money. So those are some other names to keep an eye on in silly season this year. Before we wrap up our IndyCar conversation here, and we're not going to go a full hour today, Cole. I'm not going to keep you a full hour, mostly because I want to get the heck out of here, because I want to get myself to a bar, belly up to the bar, get myself a beer, and get set for tonight's massive World Cup match in the knockout stage, round of 32, United States taking on Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's tonight for a spot in the round of 16. So that's coming up tonight in a couple hours. So I want to get out of here so I can get myself to a bar. But before we do that, this is fascinating. This is crazy. Last time that Scott Dixon ran for a team other than Chip Ganassi was 2002. This was in kart at the time, and his last race other than Ganassi was in 2002, April 27, 2002, and he ran for Pac West Racing at the Twin Ring Motegi in 2002, April 27, 2002. So what I decided to do was do a little flashback here and go back to 2002. I was 11 years old at the time in 2002. Cole, you were like 3 or something.
2002, I was 6.
So you're in kindergarten. Okay.
Yep.
I like
New
that.
York, baby.
Yeah. Did you think little Cole in 2002 at 6 years old would be witnessing a Knicks championship in your lifetime?
Nope. I did not think any of my teams would win a championship in this lifetime, so feeling very good here in 2026.
How are you feeling about your boy leaving, Mitchell Robinson?
It's fine. If I had to choose between Cat and Mitchell Robinson, obviously Cat's
close.
the answer.
Not even close.
And I mean, I know. And plus, Mitchell Robinson can't play a full season. He's always hurt. He can't make his free throws. We got him for what we needed to. Happy we won a title with him. And the poster over Embiid will go down in history. So
yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Mitchell Robinson.
All right. So yeah, the last time that Scott Dixon ran for a team other than Chip Ganassi, 2002. So I wanted to look up what was going on in 2002. So here we go. We might get popped for this, but I'm going to do it anyway, just because it's kind of fun. And I'm not going to play the whole thing. Don't worry. I'm just going to play a part of it. I'm going to take this off for a second so I can do this little screen share here. And I want to share with you the trailer for the #1 movie in America, the week of April 27th, 2002. This is a classic. So much of a classic that I never have seen it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm curious if the chat has seen this movie. Here we go. Okay, there we go. The preview has been approved for all audiences. I'm going to play like 15 seconds of this so you can get an idea. Okay, here we go, everybody. Sit back and watch this trailer. Here we go. There we go. So the movie in America, April 27, 2002, was in fact the Scorpion King.
Yeah. Yep. So I could be off here, but was this like the third movie in the original Mummy trilogy?
It was, yeah. It was a spinoff
was?
from the Mummy. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Rock turns into like some Scorpion King, right? Like, yeah, like these scorpion legs and the stinger. Or is that? Am I off on that?
I
it,
don't know.
right?
I've never seen it. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. Surprisingly,
that's either the Mummy 2 or that movie. But I remember the Rock being like some deformed scorpion-like character.
Yeah.
So that could have been it.
An awful CG of 2002.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, horrible.
So that's the top movie at the time. The top song at the time will surprise you as well. And in fact, I actually don't remember this song. MTV was massive back in the day. I don't remember this song playing on MTV back in the day. I'll tell you that much. All right, but here we go. I'll play a little bit of this so that way our lawyers don't come at us. Here we go. This was the top song on the America's Top 40 radio show from Casey Kasem, April 27th, 2002. I don't want to get the lawyers coming down on us. But this is Jennifer Lopez, Ain't It Funny?
Yeah, I'm not a big J-Lo fan. And it's kind of surprising considering how much music I like from the early 2000s. I don't remember that one. But again, I'm not a big J-Lo fan, so maybe that's why.
The other top songs at the time are much better. Don't Let Me Get Me from Pink was number 2. Great song. Yeah. In the End from Linkin Park, one of the greatest of all time. Puddle of Mud at number 4, Blurry.
Oof, great song.
Girlfriend from NSYNC at number 5.
NSYNC, wow.
Yeah, we had Shakira on the list. 1,000 Miles from Vanessa Carlton came in 11. Nickelback, How You Remind Me at number 12.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You're telling me J-Lo beat those other songs out? Give me a break.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a joke. Those other 4 songs you mentioned are so much better.
Yeah, I agree with you. Oh,
yeah, there it is.
There he is.
Okay, so I was right. It feels like a fever dream. I do remember like vaguely seeing the crappy CGI of the Rock like that. So
right,
yeah.
Right. All right, there we go. All right, what else was going on in 2002? The top selling video game in 2002 came out in October, but we're going to count it anyway. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I remember playing that on my PlayStation 2. I was terrible at it. And I don't think I ever actually finished it.
I never played GTA.
Yeah. I feel like that's one of those games though that like I was 11 at the time. I feel like, and it's like a pretty like brutal game. Like you're out stealing and looting, and I don't know why my parents let me play that at the time. And I feel like so it was a little sketchy at the time, but GTA 6 coming out this year now. So I think Grand Theft Auto Vice City was like 4, and now we get GTA 6, which I am so excited not to play. I know Big Glenn, if you still watch Big Glenn in the chat, are you picking up GTA 6? Side note, are we going to get GTA 6 before the IndyCar video game? Speaking of IndyCar.
Okay, so I have not bought a gaming system in well over 10 years, almost 15 years probably. I am going to buy whether a PlayStation or Xbox to get that IndyCar game, as well as go back to 2002. I was a GameCube kid. At this time, I was playing Pokemon and Godzilla Destroy All Monsters. That's coming out remastered this year in November on PlayStation and Xbox. So I'm going to get that game along with the IndyCar game.
There you go.
Not GTA.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, we originally were supposed to get the IndyCar game in the fall. Now we haven't heard anything. iRacing notorious for not getting us any information until the last minute because they didn't announce NASCAR 25 until like 2 months beforehand. We just got the NASCAR 26 announcement like during the San Diego weekend. And we still don't have a date for that. So we know it's coming along because iRacing told us that they have put out newly scanned versions of some of the IndyCar tracks. And so it's coming out soon. I'm curious if it's going to be released before the end of the dang season or if they're going to wait and put it out in the spring. I'm guessing we're going to get IndyCar 27. And it's going to come out in the spring. So that way you can put it out and you can put all the new drivers and their new teams and you can come out with that season. And then they can put out, like if there's any new additions to the schedule, they can, put out updates or et cetera, right? So Yeah, I'm excited. I cannot wait. I play NASCAR 25 a decent amount. I enjoy that a lot. I have Gran Turismo 7 as well. Love that game, so I'm excited. I'm excited to hop in an IndyCar, baby, and do all 200 laps of the Indianapolis 500.
Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, back in the day, I would do full races for like NASCAR 08 and Inside the Line. So
Yeah.
that'd be a fun one, man. The Indy 500.
Yes, absolutely. So hopefully that's
You know what I
coming out
miss?
soon.
Real quick. You mentioned Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
I missed the Need for Speed games. Those games were awesome back in the day.
I remember those. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
those. Blake says,
Random.
sorry he's late. It's so effing hot here. Didn't want to move. Dude, it is a little hot. It's a little hot. I think, Blake, you said you're in like Illinois area. Yeah, I don't know the kind of humidity you're dealing with, but here in lovely Phoenix, Arizona, it is 100 degrees today. So we're in the triple digits, and that's pretty good for us here in July. So there you go. Big Glenn saying, Richie, we got to race soon. Yes, we do. I know. We need to do that. The time difference is kind of tough with that, you know. So we got to plan that out. And then Cole, get a PlayStation 5 so you can play with Big Glenn and I. Cody, who's helping us out producing. Cody's helping out producing us today. He has an Xbox, so there's no cross play in 25. 26, I think it's coming. I think it's coming for 26 though. So we can get an entire Freak Nation NASCAR 26 league going, which would be sick.
We should do that. That'd be badass.
That'd be dope. All right, we can wrap this up here shortly, but one other thing from 2002, last time Scott Dixon ran for a team other than Ganassi. Here are the TV shows that were nominated for Best Comedy Series and Best Drama Series in 2001, 2002. Outstanding Drama Series. The nominees are The Sopranos, The Practice, Law and Order, ER, and your winner was The West Wing.
Wow.
Outstanding Comedy Series. The nominees are Will and Grace, Malcolm in the Middle, Frasier, Everybody Loves Raymond, and the winner of Outstanding Comedy Series, Sex and the City.
Wow. I'm trying to look. You have any Oscars things up there, Richie? I know you're a big movie guy.
Oh, you're right. I didn't bring up the Oscars. Ooh, let me try and guess.
I got it. I have it.
Let me guess. Okay, you have it pulled up? Let me guess. Now, is this the Oscars that came out, so aired in 2002, so movies that came out in 2001, or
this is the one that aired
in 2002?
2001. Should I do 2002?
No, dude. Yeah, because this is the movies that won the lot before. Okay, so yeah, so Best Picture in 2001. Without looking it up.
Okay.
I want to say 2001. I want to say that was A Beautiful Mind.
You are correct. It's A Beautiful Mind.
Let's go. Come on.
All right. Who won Best Actor? This one's pretty easy, actually.
Best Actor from 2001?
Best Actor, lead actor.
Was it Russell Crowe?
Close. No, it was actually Denzel in Training Day.
Never seen that movie.
You never seen Training Day?
No.
Bro. Homework. Great movie. Yeah, exactly.
Because I was on my second wife.
Let's see. We'll do one more. We'll do Best Actress in a leading role.
Best Actress in 01.
You might know this. I have not seen the movie.
Was it the David Lynch movie?
I'm not sure who directed it.
Yeah, who won?
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Who won? It was Halle Berry for Monster Ball.
Yeah, no, that's not the David Lynch movie. I was thinking of another one. But there you go.
Yeah.
That's crazy. 25 years, dude. That's insane. Scott Dixon lasted almost as long at Ganassi as this show Speed Freaks has been around, which is crazy.
True.
Absolutely insane. So yeah, it's still wild to me. Again, if you missed it, Freak Nation, we're gonna wrap up here in about 10 minutes or so. So we're thank you for tuning in, everybody who's watching us here on YouTube, on the Worldwide Technology YouTube page, on the Twitter machine, X as the kids call it nowadays. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching us on Twitter, and you can catch all of our interviews on there. Some great interviews with your winners from NHRA this past weekend. Maddie Gordon, her first career NHRA win. Go check out that interview. She's awesome. Maybe our favorite NHRA driver at the moment. She's so much fun. So go check out that interview. And Kenny Crash also talked to Ron Capps. So it was a Ron Capps Motorsports sweep at Norwalk this past weekend. That interview will be up, I believe, this weekend, I think. So be on the lookout for that. As for this weekend, Freak Nation, we will be on vacation. So no brand new show this weekend, even though NASCAR is in Chicagoland. IndyCar is going to be at Mid-Ohio celebrating July 4th weekend. So we're going to be off, but you can still check out both of those races on Fox and IndyCar, and the Cup Series at Chicagoland is going to be on TNT. So you can check those out. So Cole, we get the day off, thankfully.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I'm looking forward to having a nice fat steak by the pool, some Mountain Dew. Call it good.
You know what you should do when you're hanging out with your family on that Sunday night is, I shouldn't say this and jinx it, but if the U.S. wins tonight against Bosnia and Herzegovina, their next match will be Sunday night.
Guess what?
You're not going to watch.
No, I won't. Well, when you have NASCAR and IndyCar on, why would I put the soccer game on?
I mean, you got a two screen, baby. You got a two screen.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I think Dad's been kind of invested into it, so.
Yes. Yes. There we go. Cusimano family knows what's up. Okay. What else do we want to mention? Yes. Special show airing this Sunday on FS2 at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. Kenny's going to put together all of our 26th anniversary flashback interviews that we aired this past week on the Freaks Radio Network and here on YouTube. So if you missed any of those interviews, you can check them out. Kyle Busch from 2008 is in there. Bobby Hamilton Sr. is in there. Shaq and Rafa Matos are in there. Some IndyCar legends as well. James Hinchcliffe and Will Power from 2013 is in there. Some great throwback interviews. Check that out on Sunday night on FS2, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. And then we'll be back brand new the week after. So before we go, real quick, let's talk a little bit of NASCAR. Chicagoland. What does the Money Stop say about Chicagoland?
First off, Money Stop, NASCAR betting podcast, will be live on Speed Freaks YouTube, Speed Freaks X, Money Stop X, and my personal X around 10 p.m. Eastern time tonight. So stay tuned for that. But the Money Stop says that we're going back to some normalcy here, back to an oval, albeit Chicagoland, which is now 7 years old, removed from the schedule. Denny Hamlin is your common sense pick for the win going in. Most experience at that track. He's a winner there, and he has just been the best driver by far and away in 2026. So there's no reason to not pick Denny Hamlin for the race win, who was favored heavily at, I believe, plus 275 for a track we haven't been to in 7 years. So, definitely Denny Hamlin's the way to go for early betting purposes.
Real quick, answering Blaze's question. Surprisingly, Christian Lundgaard out at Aero McLaren, and also Nolan Siegel out at Aero McLaren. Their seats are going to be taken by reportedly Scott Dixon and Felix Rosenqvist in 2027 as they try to win their first Indianapolis 500 for McLaren since 1976, which is crazy. This weekend is fascinating because we haven't been in this track in like 6 years. I'm curious how the tires are going to do this weekend because this track has had no maintenance other than over the last year. And so I'm curious how the tires do here and how the tires wear out there. We're going to look for, I want to be surprised if we see like a wild card winner this week, man. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like, where maybe there's some cut tires and we have some of the favorites go down early and we get kind of a crazy winner. Remember who was the last winner at Chicagoland? The last time they ran there?
Bowman the Showman in the 88 car.
Alex Bowman. Will we get one last Alex Bowman win in the 48 before he? I don't think he's coming back to the 48 next year. I know we didn't get to it, but again, he was kind of asked about it this week, and he was very, very mum on his future. And
Yeah.
Again, I mentioned this before, but when they talked to him, when Prime Video talked to him, I think during the Coke 600, you could tell. I think he was just kind of ready to move on. Because I think he's so banged up. He's had so much injury history. He's got some of these other drivers. I'm sure Dale Earnhardt Jr. He knows Dale Earnhardt Jr. really well. He's telling him, like, dude, it's not worth it. Just go enjoy your time away from the sport. And so 48 Open next year. That should be interesting. But yeah, that'd be cool to get him one last victory in that car before he decides to move on.
I think he'll have a good run in this race. It is a shame to see his career cut short by injuries because he was very talented and still is. But it's just a major upset. But back to your comment on there being a potential first-time winner at this race, I believe that too. How about this for a first-time winner in 2026? Kyle Larson. 4 straight top 5s going into this one. He's had experience at this track before. Why not Kyle Larson? Young money.
Yeah. He's. I think this is part of the year now where it's time for him to put up or shut up if he wants to defend his championship. I think he's. I don't have the points pulled up in front of me, but I think he's. Is he top 5 still in points?
He either 5th or 6th with this crappy NASCAR app to load. He's 5th. Yep, 5th, 148 points back. And from what the broadcast was saying at Sonoma, they seem to think that anybody from 1st through 6th will have a shot at the championship once the chase format gets introduced. So that would, right now at the halfway point, that would be Hamlin, Reddick, Blaney, Gibbs, Larson, and Elliott.
Yep.
So pretty cool.
There you go. All right, Freak Nation. Thanks for hanging out with us. Busy day in the IndyCar side of things. Exciting weekend in motorsports ahead. Have a safe, happy July 4th weekend, everybody. Stay safe. If you're shooting off fireworks, don't do it at midnight. Please don't do it at midnight. Don't scare the dogs. Don't scare the cats. Be safe. Enjoy it. Go USA. Tune in and watch tonight's game. It is at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm headed to the bar right now. That's why we're wrapping up shop 45 minutes. I'm going to go to the bar. Chat before we go. What should my first beer be? Huh? Yeah.
It has to be an American beer.
Yes.
It has to be an American beer.
Yes.
I mean, what's more American than Budweiser, bro?
Oh, Bud Heavy though? Ugh.
Yeah,
man. Bud Light. Bud Light's disgusting.
Well, do Miller Lite for Brad Keselowski up here. There you go.
Oh yeah, Miller Lite. There we go. Miller Lite also disgusting. I'm a Coors Light guy. I actually like Coors Light the best.
I actually am a Bud Light guy. If I drink light beer, but I really don't like beer. I see. Blake knows double vodka on the rocks. I'm a vodka guy. I don't do the beer really.
Yeah. You gotta hear Bob to set the tone. Jesus.
There we go. All right.
I am not 21 anymore, bro. Jesus. Oh boy, yeah. Double vodka on the rocks. Y'all are trying to kill me, man. My goodness. Johnson chiming in says, "Get yourself a Fireball." We'll see. I'll tell you what. If the U.S. scores in the opening 10 minutes of the match, let's go. Fireballs on me, everybody, at the local establishment. Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. You have to put it up on the either your personal or the Speed Freaks Twitter. You doing a shot of Fireball when that happens?
Absolutely not, ladies and gentlemen. We are not doing that. Okay.
All right.
That's it, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you to Cole Cusimano for joining me. Thank you to Cody Big Johnson, who is behind the scenes, run the 1s and 2s for us. Thanks for everybody for watching. We're not doing car bombs either. It is not. That's an Irish thing, bro. Ireland's not even in the World Cup. Follow us at Speed Freaks. Plenty to come this weekend. Busy motorsports weekend. And we will talk to you next week, everybody. Good night.